Namaskar, viewers. We are some of those fortunate ones who have got the opportunity to celebrate Amrit Mahotsav of our freedom struggle. And we have seen good progress in these years, which is taking us towards the nation building. And of course, some areas need more work, some work, and that's in progress. So 25 years are left to become the centurion. And in this 25 years, what best we can do as an individual and as a citizen of this nation. So all of us are contributing in some or the other way. But I have one person with me today. She is a daughter of Bharat Mata, and she has dedicated her life for we call it nation building or Rashtra Utthapan. And she doesn't need an introduction, but as a format of this program, I am privileged and honored to have Mananiya Nivedita Bhide. She is the president of Vivekananda Rock Memorial Kanyakumari and very motivational speaker and author, and doing her best to mold the generations after generation who would have a Desh Bhakti and motivation to imbibe these values. So let me formally, first of all, welcome her, and then we'll start the Karikrama. Tay Namaste and Suswagatam. Um, Nedatai, before I get onto the topic, I want to ask you what motivated you to serve this nation and dedicate the entire life for this nation?
It is mainly the atmosphere in the house and the sanskaras that my parents did on all of us. So I was seeing their life, and that is how I also had the desire that I should do something for the country. To as much extent as I can. That was my desire. Then I happened to know about Vivekananda Kendra, and that is how I decided to join Vivekananda Kendra. Because in those days, Vivekananda Kendra was the first organization in the country, apart from the sannyasi organizations. It was the first organization where women could go and join full time and work. So I was very happy, and that's how I reached Vivekananda Kendra.
And everyone knows, but I want to add, at the age of 21, you took this 19, okay, 2 years younger. At the age of 19, you took this decision, which is not only now, but those days also very rare decision. We will talk
I
about
took
it.
this decision when I was in class 11.
Okay.
In those days, it was matriculation year, 11th standard. Then I told my father, but he knew about Kendra, so he told me one has to be
Graduate.
at least graduate. So as soon as I became graduate, fortunately I had double promotion and on earlier in school, primary school. So I could complete my graduation before I turned 19.
Okay.
So I could come to Kendra early.
You were destined to serve the nation, and that's how things worked, I should say. Then we will talk about this more some other time, but today let us start with the subject that we have decided today. All of us, celebrate the two occasions, 15th August and 26th January. Some enjoy it because it's a holiday. Some like to watch the march past and other glorious moments on Rajpath, and some have emotional attachment with it. However, I want to ask freedom in your way, in your view, how it can be realized for an individual and a collective life of a nation.
Freedom is not, do as you want. That's not the meaning of freedom. Freedom means you know that there is some purpose and you want to have complete, freedom to express yourself to live for that purpose. So it is not just a life of freedom, doesn't mean that it is indulging whatever you want to do. That's not freedom. That's actually, I will say, slavery of your own desires and senses. So, in our Shastras, for individual, the ultimate freedom is defined in the concept of moksha or mukti.
Yes.
That is, you are not bound by your body, mind, intellect. They are only your instruments. But your real nature is Atman, which has no death, which is ever pure. And to realize your real nature, that is the purpose of human life. But it is the ultimate purpose. For many, it may not be their immediate purpose. So the our rishis, they had told it is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are all the objectives of human life. So artha and kama are natural purushartha. They are in animals also. So if you are having only artha and kama in life, you are living animal's life. But if you are striving for artha and kama is based on dharma, then you practice these three, it will ultimately lead you to moksha. So this is what individual freedom. So as individual is supposed to express oneself in the interest of the samashti, and therefore live such life of restraint, of achievement, of contribution. So same way, even the nation also, every nation, every civilization has certain purpose for contributing towards the evolution of man, evolution of human being. So India also has that purpose, and that is why India needed the freedom so that she can express herself in all walks of life and raise herself in such a way that she radiates spirituality, because spirituality cannot be taught. It is to be transmitted. It is to be radiated by living it. And you cannot just do asana, pranayam, dhyan in the morning and then follow the Western systems in life. That is not possible. So your whole, whether it is family life, whether it is social life, whether it is institutional life, organizational life, everything should be based on the systems which are in tune with the vision of that nation. And for us, it is a vision of oneness. So building of such systems, you need the freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of doing. And that freedom India needed, because the Indian systems were all destroyed, are distorted. And that is why India needed the freedom.
Sometime back, I was reading Shri Aurobindo's thoughts on freedom. And he said that individual person cannot evolve to the fullest potential as long as the Swadharma is not able to express itself freely in the collective life. So it goes very much in tune with what you said just now, that unless that expressional freedom is not there, we cannot excel. We had a Sanatana knowledge, a strong Sanatana knowledge. We had a very intellectual collection of people in our nation. We had a strong belief in our scriptures and dharma. Still, what was the reason that invaders entered and damaged our foundation?
See, it is not that on one fine day the invaders entered. It is not like that. If we really have to compare, after the rise of Islam, the Islamic army reached the boundaries of Europe within 50 years. And the Holy Roman Empire collapsed. It reached up to southern France. But the same Islamic army they came here also. They tried to raid our temples.
Yes.
But they were sent back. They were properly
Push back.
responded
Yes.
to.
Yes. Yes.
So it went on for almost 570 years. 570 years. Here it is 50 years, and in India it is 570 years. It took for the Muslim rulers to come and ultimately start ruling here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, even why did that happen? For that one, we can say the one very most important thing is, what is our strength is also our weakness. It's generally like that for everyone. So, our strength is that our whole cultural life, our nation itself is a cultural nation. It is based on vision of oneness. That is, we see Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu. That is, we see the self being expressed everywhere. So for us, no one is outsider. We don't have that concept. We don't have even the word, as Swami Vivekananda told this in the Parliament of Religions, that no Indian language has a word for exclusive. We do not have word for that. Because we don't exclude anything. Everything is imbued with Ishvara. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. So because of that, we never could understand the exclusive ideologies. Exclusive ideologies means those people who say, yes, today we have no strength, so we will keep quiet. But the moment our strength increases, you have no right to live. So we never understood. As we gave place to many people, we gave place to these people also. Whenever they raided, and if some people express their desire, they want to stay in India, we very happily allowed them to stay. And that is how slowly we fail, as we fail to understand the exclusive ideology, slowly they got foothold here, and it is how they could start ruling. But still, it goes to the credit of Indian bravery and Indian spirit that at no point in history the whole India was ruled by the outsider. Never. Even during British period, there were so many other kingdoms, who had very large, so to say, self-rule, or communities who had complete self-rule on them, whether it was in Northeast or in forest. So that one thing. What happened further was that many of our systems, whether it is temple system, village system, our school system, educational system, our irrigation system, our system of taking care of destitutes and orphans, all this was interfered with by the British. So slowly it started, degrading. And you must have heard that story, that frog, if you take a frog and put in a boiling water or very hot water, that frog will immediately jump out. Suppose that frog is in the water and slowly you are increasing the temperature of the water, that frog will become restless, but it will not jump out. So this is what happened. We could not understand how these exclusive ideologies, or whether it is religious ideology or political ideology, these exclusive ideologies are slowly getting foothold of various systems in our social life. And that is why the degradation came. And I will say, even today, all Indians are not aware of. Even today, we don't have what we say sense of enemy. Shatru bodhi nahi hai hamare.
Yeah, and yes,
those were some of the reasons.
Agree. And I think I echo what point you are trying to make here. We do not have that awareness where it is entering into our freedom and in our space and damaging our foundation. So what was the drive, or what was the inspiration for people to stand and raise their voice against it? Because as you said, slowly it entered, and we being a good people or tolerant people, we allowed it. But then at one point in time, yes, there was a response, and people started opposing it. What was that one reason for them to oppose it?
Again, it's never a one reason that someone says something and suddenly the whole nation comes up. It's a process of awakening. And the process of awakening started with, it's not only the freedom fighters or not only the great political leaders, but it is also the great saints, sages who initiated this process of awakening. For example, in 13th, 14th century, Srimanta Shankardev from Northeast, from Assam, he wrote Bharata Bhu Prashamsa. And he said that really it's a great fortune to have birth in India. Or another poet in Kerala, he also wrote exactly the same thing. And we see many such persons writing like that. Then Swami Vivekananda, he says that I am proud to belong to a Hindu nation, and I am proud to be a Hindu. So he called this Rashtra as Hindu nation. He was
also,
the one who
today is a Punyatithi of Swami Ramdas Swami. So
yes. So he is also another awakener.
Correct.
Swami Vivekananda also said that each nation has a destiny to fulfill, a message to deliver, a mission to accomplish. And India has to guide the whole world in spirituality. In spite of so many invasions, India has not lost her identity. It is because India has still great work to do. That's how Swami Vivekananda said. So he gave that sense of purpose to a nation, a sense of mission to a nation. So this is also one more thing. Or if we see Sri Aurobindo said that, early, means when he was arrested and he was in Alipur jail. And after when he was released, his first speech was at Uttarpara. And that Uttarpara speech is very famous, and actually every Indian should read it. Very small booklet it is. So in that he says, earlier I thought nationalism is our dharma. That is, to work for nation is our dharma. But then he says, now I realize that Sanatana Dharma is our nationalism. That is, working for this nation means working for the Dharma. Working for the Dharma means working for the Dharmis, those who follow the Dharma. So, Sanatana Dharma is the identity of this country, of India. If Sanatana Dharma is lost, everything is lost. Or whether Mahatma Gandhi ji, he said Rama Rajya, that is, again, the concept that he gave was of Rama Rajya. Or we know Bankim Chandra, he saw India not just as a geography, but as Durga herself, which has manifested to guide the humanity. And that's how in Vande Mataram he wrote, Tvam hi Durga Dasha Praharana Dharini. So this is how we see that the drive of or the inspiration of freedom movement was deeply spiritual, was deeply in the interest of the whole humanity. It is not that we want political power, so we are fighting for the freedom. It was not like that. That because we have a higher purpose, our nation has a higher purpose, and we are fortunate to have been born in this country which can really guide the humanity. And it is that which motivated the people. And it's only inspiration which can make people, give up everything and work for the country. So those were the drives of freedom movement. So slowly, as all these saints, sages, great persons like Swami Vivekananda, then political leaders like Nivedita, or freedom fighters like Vasudev Bhavanta Padke or Bhagat Singh, and all they all, incidentally, today is his Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Jayanti. That 225th Jayanti. So whether it was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, so all of them contributed in awakening the nation.
We, as you have just now said, that it was a more of a spiritual awakening, and then that is how the drive and the inspiration started. Yes, people had ready for a lot of sacrifice and patience, and everyone contributed their way in this freedom moment. Um, it was not a dream of handful of people. The entire nation was involved into this activity. Having said so, um, in today's world, uh, have we lost that sacrifice and that commitment flavor?
I don't say we have lost. It may appear it is reduced, but even that may not be true.
Okay.
Because, freedom movement was a very clear goal
Hmm.
that you had to fight
Hmm. Hmm.
with the British,
Hmm.
whether a violent way or non-violent way. That's a different thing, whether
Hmm.
with arms or without arms.
Yeah. Yes.
But you had to fight and you had to get the freedom. But now what we have to do is actually rebuilding of the nation,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is in different fields of life,
Yes.
and the building is always one by one slowly. So it's a multifaceted work,
Hmm.
and therefore many times the dedication is not visible.
Hmm.
But still, this is true
Hmm.
that the drives or the
Hmm.
inspiration of
Hmm.
freedom movement,
Hmm.
unfortunately,
Hmm.
was later not discussed, or
Hmm.
it was not the part of public discourse
Hmm.
or narrative
Hmm.
in India.
Hmm.
Unfortunately,
Hmm.
that is, the political establishment saw to
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
that it is obliterated. It is
Hmm.
not kept in the mainline discourse.
Hmm.
Uh, they had their own reasons or fears.
Hmm.
Mostly it was because of the partition.
Hmm.
So they felt that we are being held responsible for the partition because we have tried to, stress on whether it is Rama Rajya or whether it is Hindu nation or whether it is Sanatana Dharma. So somewhere that is why the Muslims demanded the separate nation. This is how they concluded, though this is not correct, but that is how they concluded. And therefore, better we not talk that, so that at some point in future, maybe India and Pakistan, what this partition was unnatural, it will become one again. So it may be with good intention, or it may be with fear,
Hmm.
or it also may be with some selfish
Ignorance.
tinge in
Okay.
that,
Okay.
that somehow this policy was followed by the political establishment. Because they followed it like that, slowly it went out of our educational inputs. It
Yes.
went out of from the media.
Yes.
Today, suppose any political leader stands and says Sanatana Dharma is the identity of this nation.
Hmm.
If he says that, he will be charged as communal.
Yes.
But that was the drive of freedom movement. If someone says that she is Bharat Mata is Durga herself,
Hmm.
again he will be charged as communal.
Hmm.
So the whole public discourse itself got distorted. Now, if it is just a India where you had to have good roads and good
Hmm.
buildings
Hmm.
or whatever,
Hmm.
just infrastructural
Hmm.
development,
Hmm.
people don't get motivated by that.
Hmm.
They say,
Hmm.
if it is only infrastructure, okay, I
Yeah.
will study well and go to America. I
Correct.
will have a country with better infrastructure.
Yes.
That is, your country has a higher purpose,
Hmm.
and you being born in this country, your mission of life or your aim of life should align with the mission of the nation. That thought itself is gone. And the younger generation,
Hmm.
why to say younger
Younger.
generation,
Yeah.
even the
Exactly.
earlier generation also,
Yes. Yes.
they do not know the right history of India. They do
Yes.
not know even these drives of freedom
Yes.
movement.
Yes.
And therefore, India, which has no soul, is presented to them. Just a constitutional India is presented to them. Constitutional India does not inspire. Constitution is a system, is
The
an
infrastructure. Yes.
arrangement to
Yes.
administer.
Yes.
But that does not define the nation.
Hmm.
What defines the nation
Hmm.
itself is gone out of the consciousness of
Correct.
the Indians uh, with deliberate design. And because of that, that drive or that sacrifice
Hmm.
may
That passion.
appear it is
Yeah.
less.
Yes.
But those who are acquainted with that, they are working for the country. They are equally motivated,
Yes,
dedicated,
yes.
we can say that.
Agree. And you very well articulated that infrastructure of political or of administrative setup is not satisfaction. We need something more, and that is some many people should talk about it, bring up to the various diasporas and discuss about it, and bring up that passion once again in people. Um,
The 75th year is an occasion
yes,
to again remind all these drives of freedom movement or the
inspirations of freedom movement. Yes,
again, this is a good occasion for all of us to take it to the youth and all others.
correct. Just now, what you were talking in that context, other day I was talking to somebody, and the topic came of Bharat Mata. And I said, why some people are not able to accept uh, saying Bharat Mata ki Jai and expressing that same attachment and affection like some people do. So the answer I got is like, why are you representing it as a Hindu goddess? Because I love my nation, I have attachment with my Rashtra, but you are capturing it in the image of the goddess, and that's where I have a problem, because my faith is different and I cannot accept this as my nation. What do you want to answer to them?
See, faith could be different in India. We have so many gods and goddesses. So everyone has a different faith. Someone worships Anidumni, someone worships, prays to Singbunga, Bathau, Isaki Amman, Chudalai Madan, Krishna, Shiva, Durga. He could be also praying to Allah, Jesus. There is no problem. The God is no problem at all to this nation. And if the person is saying that because my faith is different, I cannot accept India as a Hindu goddess, then he has not understood India. He has not understood what India has stood for all these years. So such person may be a citizen of India, but he will not be a national of India. He will not be part of this nation. He is only a citizen. वो नागरिक है, वो इस राष्ट्र की राष्ट्रीयता का रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं करता है. So that is again, I will say, that is again because what I told first, that the public discourse got so vitiated, so distorted, that today the people not only of different faith, but even there are some such Hindus. Actually, because of them, these people of different faith, they talk like that.
Correct,
So there
correct.
are many so-called Hindus who also object to this.
Yes.
That is more because of ignorance, because of political correctness, so-called correctness in quotes,
In quotes.
or because of political ambitions, because of selfish interest.
Yes.
This is what is happening.
थैंक यू. अभी थोड़ा सा अलग प्रश्न पे आते हैं. भारत स्वतंत्र है कि स्वाधीन है?
In 1947, we got only, I will say, Swadhinta, that is self-rule. So politically, we became independent. But so many years of direct, indirect rule.
Yeah.
Our thinking also, we lost thinking, or we what all systems we had. As I had mentioned, the educational system, or the village system, or the irrigation system. We do not know. Just for example, in 1823, that is, it means the beginning of the 19th century, after the first quarter, it's almost the first quarter was over, when the British conducted educational survey. That educational survey was conducted by the British collectors, and it was compiled by by a Christian missionary by name William Adam. So no Indian's hand is there in that. That complete educational survey says that in India, there was no village without a school. Every village had a school. Slightly bigger village will have 3-4 schools. Still bigger town will have many schools. So, and according to them, so 10 years already the financial support was withdrawn by 1813 Charter Act. So the schools were getting closed. So some they were running it privately. So as per that report, 72% of the children were going to the school. That is, universal primary education was there in our school, in our country in those days. The children of all the communities, sare jati ke, they were going to the school. But today we don't know that. So the children from all the communities, all the jati, they were going to the school, but we do not know that. Today you ask anyone that who educated the masses of our country, who brought the mass education, they say the British and the Christian missionaries, which is exactly opposite. In 18 means in the beginning of the 19th century, the missionaries adopted downward filtration method. It means only the children of the forward caste will be given the admission in Christian schools, missionary schools and government schools.
Right.
And 100 years followed the same thing. So our all other communities, they lost their education, they lost their vocation, business because of the industrial policy, land policy of the British. But this is not known to us. And so when we got freedom, we are not seeing that what is the Indian ethos. So suppose we want to build educational system. What should be the Indian curriculum, the Indian system, or even in commerce, even in village, that is a village system if we want to develop. Even the irrigation system, we had such wonderful irrigation system.
True.
Because of which this is Sujalam Sufalam Bhumi. So all this is not known, and we did not rebuild our country based on our traditional wisdom.
True.
So we did get the independence, but it unfortunately turned out only political independence. यानी हम स्वाधीन हो गए, लेकिन स्व के तंत्र से चलने वाला राष्ट्र यह नहीं हुआ. That is the techniques that we adopted are all Western techniques, but the mindset is Indian. So that doesn't work here. For example, you ask how many goals Sachin Tendulkar made in his life. Sachin Tendulkar did not make any goals, so he is a great failure. You will say like that?
No.
So you are applying hockey rule to cricket player.
Yes.
So same way, the Western standard we are applying to India, the Western methods and systems we are adopting here, whereas our mental makeup is different. So we, यानी जैसे पूछा आपने कि हम स्वाधीन तो हो गए, स्वतंत्र अभी भी हो रहे हैं.
और उसकी बहुत आवश्यकता है, because yes, we need to customize or adopt the things that suits to our soil, to our mindset and to our requirement, most importantly, and that will definitely bring down the migrations, the struggle that
means actually it's not only suiting to our mental makeup.
No.
To go further, I will say the Western model of development is not sustainable.
Yes.
It doesn't go well with the environment.
True.
It doesn't go well with the families.
Yes.
The families are breaking. Everything is means it is not a sustainable model. Whereas we have the technology, we have the philosophy for sustainable development. If we are just adopting their models, we are not free yet. So the real freedom we mean that we go for development which is sustainable.
हाँ, हम स्वाधीन हुए हैं, स्वतंत्र नहीं हुए. स्वतंत्र का अर्थ हमारे तंत्रों से चलने वाले नहीं हुए, हो रहे हैं. Slowly we are getting into it. हमने जो स्ट्रगल किया और जो हमारे नेताओं ने, लोगों ने छोटे से छोटे व्यक्ति ने whatever contribution they have given uh, in this efforts of getting the freedom, and then, as you say, politically it was announced on in 1947. um, have we achieved what we wanted to achieve, or still lots to achieve?
So there is lot to achieve. As I told, we have to rebuild our nation based on our ethos. So there is lot to achieve.
Okay, we are such a diverse country, many languages, many communities, many different, I will not say beliefs, but the setup. But what binds us together? What makes us a nation?
Uh, when I ask this question to the youth, they say that I am Marathi, you are Malayali, you are Kannadiga, you are Punjabi, but we are all Indians. This is what binds us.
Okay.
I told how it will bind us. Let us say Tamilian or a Marathi will stand up and say, I don't want to be called as Marathi. So is our bonds or our common links are just because we have one constitution or we call ourselves as Indian, or is there some deeper unity? Like, for example, we cannot change our DNA, we cannot change our parents. So same way, can we as we cannot change them, same way can we change our country, or is there any deeper unity? So that is where when we go in depth to try to understand, there is very beautiful diversity, diverse traditions in our country,
Yes,
no
yes,
doubt about it.
yes.
But if we see the attitude behind those practices, customs, traditions, if we see the bhava behind those traditions or the approach, why it is done, that is same. For example, the worshipping the first grain after harvesting. This is common all over India.
Yes.
The worship may be different.
Yes.
Okay. New house is built, before entering the house, you do worship, or even Bhumi Puja you do.
Yes.
The type of puja may be different,
Yes.
but the bhava, the attitude behind that is same.
Hmm.
Or whether it is respect for the elders, for the ancestors, or for the bhumi, for the river, our way of expressing may be different.
Yes.
But the feeling is same. So to put it in a cultural language, the vision of life is of oneness. That is, we see this whole universe as interconnected, interrelated, interdependent. So that is same all over India. Second thing, we know the divine can manifest in many forms and many ways. And therefore, I don't go and tell someone, no, your Bathau is not correct. Only my Durga Devi is right. So give a Bathau and pray to Durga Devi. We don't do that. I may pray to Durga Devi also. Yes. I may pray to Bathau also. Yes. And if my tradition is of Bathau, I will continue in that. Yes. Just because I went for Durga Puja doesn't mean I lost my Bathauism. It doesn't mean that. So this is another very common thing. Third thing, we don't consider human being as basically a sinner. We consider human being as a divine incarnation. Divine. It could be a part of divine, or it could be a divine itself. Yes. That details may vary. Yes. But human soul is not sinner, but it is divine. Similarly, religion is not in belief, but it is in actual practice. So a person, he may know Bhagavad Gita by heart, he may give great lectures on Bhagavad Gita, but if it is not in his life, he is only a good lecturer. That's all. But a person, he may not be even quoting Bhagavad Gita, but if he is living Gita, he is called as sant, and people follow him. So it is the practice what matters and not the belief. As Swami Vivekananda had said, religion is in being and becoming, and not in believing. So these are all some common things which connect us. So it is a very deeper unity. It is outlook towards life, which is same for all of us, which we just cannot shake off.
True. Um, it's such a glorious tradition and belief system we have in our nation. As you rightly said, language may vary, worshipping ways may vary, dress may vary, food culture obviously varies, but there is a central part which is binding us together. Women play a very major role in everything, and even in freedom struggle, we have seen wonderful and brave and warrior women have taken part, and they have shown their success also, their heroism also. Um, Now, once again, it's a high time for women to awake and get involved into nation building. Now, as you rightly said, our goal is not fighting with Britishers or Mughals for that matter, but our goal is to bring back that glory. So, what do you want to tell women how they can contribute? They need not be professionals to contribute, but a mother also can contribute.
Yes, whatever way of life or the profession or the path a woman chooses, she can contribute. Why only woman? I will say man and woman both can.
Both, yes, yes, yes.
It's the tradition that women participating even in war.
Yes.
It's since Vedic times.
Yes.
We have such examples since Vedic times.
Yes.
Many of the kings since
Yes.
Vedic times,
Yes.
their bodyguards used to be women.
Hmm.
You know, a very, as what we have now, black commandos. No? So that special platoon used to be made of women, not men. So you can imagine. So women have never lacked either in bravery,
Yes, yes.
or we see great poetess, great
Yes.
saints.
Yes.
Saint is not a right word. Great
Yes.
Santa.
Santa.
Or even the Rishikas are there
Yes,
in
yes,
Vedas
yes,
who have
yes.
seen the mantras.
Yes.
All this is because basically in India, we don't look down upon a woman. A woman is not considered as a supplement of man. But she also, her soul is also equally divine. Actually, the soul doesn't have any gender. The soul takes sometimes a man's body, sometimes a woman's body. So therefore, we don't look down upon a woman. Actually, a divine can be worshipped and prayed even in feminine form.
Yes.
So the concepts like Jagadamba,
Yes.
Jagadjanani, Jagadishwari
Yes.
are only in India.
India.
Nowhere else.
Yes.
Even Mary, whom Christians pray to, she doesn't have the capacity to grant the Vishesh. Just because she is mother of Jesus, they pray to her, and
Yes.
she will tell Jesus, you please see whether something can be done. So the granting of desires is possible only by the Son of God.
Son of God.
Mary doesn't have any role.
She's not entitled.
As a divine being.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is what means principally we have not looked down upon women.
Yes. Yes.
And a woman could choose any path. That is what actually a freedom of life should mean for anyone. That you must have the freedom to choose a path through which you will contribute for the good of the society. So it could be you decide to take care of household full-fledged, full-time, and you focus on that. Or you have career as well as you take care of home, or you are only in career and you do something very good, or you just like, for example, like me, who decided to join full-time a spiritually oriented service organization, that is Vivekananda Kendra, and work for the country, contribute for the country. So what matters is contribution. I have to contribute. My life should be contributory. I can choose a path as per my mental makeup. That freedom should be there for men. It should be for women. And it was in our country for quite long for both men and women.
Yes.
But when the invasion started, then naturally there were a lot of restrictions because the women were not safe. They were carried away by the invaders. So we had to protect them. And the way of protecting was confining them to the home.
Restrictions.
And because we confined them to the home, their exposure got affected. And because the exposure got exposure to social life, to national life, got affected. And because of that, they need that education. That's what Swami Vivekananda said. We need to educate them, but without injuring their innate spirituality.
Yes.
That's what Swami Vivekananda again and again harped upon it.
Yes.
So now the participation of women in the works of social well-being,
formation,
the works of national reconstruction,
yes,
that should increase, and that is increasing. That we see in different walks of life, women are contributing, because we never look down upon a woman. Principally, a woman is not seen inferior to man. Principally, I am saying.
Yes.
Practice, it happened because of the invasions and all that. But principally, because we don't look down upon, we see that when India got independent, there was not even a discussion whether a woman should be given the right to vote or not. Whereas in many other countries, the women never got
the right at first place. Yes.
They had to agitate, they had to go for it. And in a country like Sweden, the women got right to vote only in 1974.
True.
So, so we can see that. And therefore, now as we are celebrating the 75th year, the women can always play a very great role, because they have some special qualities in them, because of which means their inputs are also required. That's why Swami Vivekananda used to tell that a bird cannot fly with one wing. Bird needs two wings to fly. Similarly, a society and nation to take off, they need both the contribution from men as well as from women.
Last question. We are celebrating 75th year. We call it 75th year, or we can call it 75 years of Amrita also. 25 years and we will be doing the century. In this period, what all people should be focusing on in their respective fields to do the nation building?
See, this is very much necessary. We are not celebrating the 75 years of independence just to see what was the freedom movement, or whether we went wrong somewhere, or what are our achievements till now. Of course, all that we should see. There is no doubt about it. But all that has to be seen in the context of the mission India has to fulfill. And therefore, we must plan for the coming 25 years. That's a good way to plan. 25 years is not too long, and it is not also too little. Too short a gap.
It is sufficient to bring a positive change.
Individually, what will be my sankalpa? What is it that I shall contribute for the nation in coming 25 years? In what way I shall raise myself? Spiritually, intellectually, and also socially. So that I can contribute for the society, for the nation.
Correct.
So we must have individual sankalpa. Then let us say we are part of some organization or some institution, maybe a school, a university, a college. Then for coming 25 years, how do we envisage our organization or our institute to develop so as to contribute for the nation to rise itself and guide the whole humanity? So we must have an organizational sankalpa also. And of course, we should have a national sankalpa that by 2047, how India should be, in what all fields, what should be her achievements, to what extent it should reach. You know, to give an example, we know that our former president, Shri APJ Abdul Kalam, he had given us Vision 2020, and that had invigorated many youth.
Hmm.
that yes, we should do this in missile technology, in space technology, in self-reliance, means in acquiring self-reliance in grains, in milk production, or whatever. Because of that dream, many got inspired. So same way, our country should again set for itself the goal to be achieved in coming 25 years in the context of the drives that were there for
Yes.
freedom, India's freedom.
Freedom.
That is, India should guide the world spiritually. So, how India, and that doesn't mean that in the spirituality, touches all walks of life.
Yes.
Therefore, India should develop in all walks of life. And spiritually also, how India can guide the world. So that thinking, that discourse, and then that sankalpa should become part of this celebration of the 75 years.
Wonderful. So to add to your point is like our Sanatana Dharma, our knowledge, our modern development, our national growth has brought us the stability and fame. And from here, we should only excel and become more and more glorified country and bring back that name and the glory we had, which is what the nation is known for. So thank you so much for your time and the inspiration and the wisdom that you shared with us. I really feel privileged and honored to talk to you. So once again, thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.